Alright guys, what's up? Not much. So, a couple months ago, I did a video on real tile wastegate versus fake tile wastegate, and I kind of just broke down both and kind of gave a pretty good explanation on both, but the comments in that video said, hey, we want to see the blow-off valves. So, I have two blow-off valves here. This is a real tile blow-off valve and a fake tile blow-off valve. This one is obviously used. I've had this on a car for about a year. So this one has some wear and tear, where this one, it's actually brand new out of the box, so nobody's ever used it. So just to give you some comparison before you, like, while you're watching the video, you know that this one's used, this one's not used. So I guess starting out of the box, just from visual appearances, you both get the same things in the box. You also do get the, I guess, the adapter piece to weld this on. Both adapters are identical. That is one thing to note from the jump. So let's just say you know you might upgrade in the future. You can always buy this one first and upgrade to this one, because the pieces you weld to your intercooler piping are the exact same. So this one was welded on to the car, so I was like, well, I didn't want to take that off. But so just to let you know, they're the same. You can always upgrade later. So now, but other than that, they come with the same pieces. These two are different, and actually these two little rings here, they seem pretty much the same. I've put both on each. They seem like they work. This one seems a little bit more flexier, I guess the word maybe it could be. But then again, that one's brand new. This one has actually been on the car for a year, so it's probably obviously not as new. Now for these flanges that actually come on, this is kind of a big difference between the two. This one's steel and this one's aluminum. Now, as we can see here, I don't know if you guys can see the quality or if this is going to focus too good. This steel clamp is, I mean, it works. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like, oh man, that's the coolest thing ever. It works. It doesn't look as clean, but does it seal? Does it hold the seal? Yes. I guess the only thing I can say is that I don't know why they would use a steel clamp. Probably because it's cheaper, because your blow-off valve is aluminum and your intercooler piping normally is aluminum. So having a steel clamp hold the two together, I guess that's probably not the best piece to use for that, but it works. It's not going to cause any problems. Same thing with this one right here. As you can see, like, this is the real tile one. The machining on this one is a lot better. Yeah, it just looks nicer. So yeah, you can see actually how it's cut and everything like that. It looks really nice. But yeah, they both work. I would say not one is better than the other one as far as function. They both work. It just, this one looks a little bit nicer. But now onto the actual blow-off valves themselves. This is the fake one. As you can see, actually the biggest thing I also want to note between these two, I don't know if you can see this, but the heights on these are a little bit different. The fake one is actually a little bit shorter. It's maybe about half an inch shorter. So, you know, if you needed to fit this in a tight area, this fake one would actually fit, versus the tile one is it's a lot bigger, and it's actually a little bit wider too. So if you had space requirements, this might fit in a better location. But as you can see, the fit and finish on this thing, it's, I guess I wouldn't say it's not as good as the tile one, let's say that. But I guess if you're worried about, you know, machining process here, that's kind of a, I mean, I would say like probably not the last thing I worry about as far as machining, because realistically, this one probably costs $300 and this one costs $50. So you're talking way different spectrums of price. I mean, it's price here as far as what you're getting. And I mean, same thing as with tile one. You can see just like the cuts on this thing, how it actually looks. You know, it looks like somebody actually cut this out, machined it a lot better. But it looks real nice. I mean, the color is a lot more rich and vibrant versus, you know, this one, you know, kind of, honestly looks kind of like a pink dull type of color. I mean, yeah, this one looks really purple. I know the thing is, just for these, the color difference though, if you buy like a red one or blue one or whatever, they look a lot better in color. It's just the purples are a little slack. But two, this is also what I was going to show you guys. The flanges on these are identical. So, you know, you can always buy a cheap one and see how it works out for you, and always upgrade to a nicer one later because the flanges are identical. I guess maybe metal wise, the Tial one might have a better aluminum, but fit and finish and size wise, they're identical. They use the same clamps. Both, you know, both clamps will fit on both. There's not much, you know, I would say as far as install wise or upgrading later that you would have to do, because these nipples are the same size. So your vacuum line's going to fit the same. Even your flange on the bottom is going to fit the same. Everything's going to fit the same actually if you were to upgrade to this in the future, because I highly doubt you would have this and downgrade to this. But as far as performance wise, I have not had a problem with either one. It works. It is what it is. It's too, I mean, let's say this, on wastegates, I did have, I guess more of a laggy feel with the wastegate, with the cheap wastegate versus the expensive wastegate. But blow off valves, it really just blows off. It doesn't serve a crazy purpose as much as like a wastegate does as far as regulating your boost. Yeah, so they work. I would not say this one works better than this one as far as I could tell. I've had both on the cars. You're not going to feel much of a difference. You're not, even sound wise, to be honest, they kind of sound the same. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they both sound pretty much the same. I mean, if anything, I might almost say this one's a little louder, but that's just very, very, you know, very negligible. You may not even be able to see the difference between the two. But yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is really just visual appearance, I would say, as far as what you're getting. You know, because the cuts in this, they're just, you know, obviously a lot more blunt. Maybe that's the word I would say. Like, they're kind of not rounded off and looked really machined well. But I mean, whereas like this one, you can see like it's, you know, something actually cut this out really good. And the ports on it, like, that's kind of the thing, because you can see the ports on here, they kind of like blow out. So whereas this one, the ports are not like that. They're kind of just straight cut. The air has to come up and directly out of the side. And even on the bottom, now this was the only thing that did kind of throw me for a loop. This valve is actually a hair bigger, and that's actually why I had to get these out to measure it. This valve at the bottom is actually a hair bigger than the Tial. So technically, if you're talking engineering wise, this might let out more air than this one, just because it has a bigger actual hole where it releases. Now, one thing to note though, on the bottom though, this one right here is curved on the edge. So if air forces this out, I guess the air will kind of kick out to the side a little bit better. Whereas this one is a lot more flat, and it doesn't have a big curve on the edge here going around the ring. So that's one thing to note. But other than that though, guys, these are pretty much identical, other than the flanges that actually connect them, and I guess the looks wise. But you can make the decision on your own, I guess, to kind of look at the two to figure out whichever one you want. If you got $50 in your budget or you got $300 in your budget, really just depends on how much money you have to spend on which one you should put on your car. But yeah, guys, all right, I'm not going to draw this out too long, just kind of go over the difference between $50 cheap wastegate and $300 nice baller cool wastegate. So all right, guys, you got any more videos you want to see, let me know. We'll do some comparisons of some cheap versus expensive parts. But all right, guys, I guess we'll keep chugging on. Later.